What is communism? Everybody knows that communism exists. Most people are agreed that communism is undesirable. But very few people could define clearly and simply just what communism is. This is not really very surprising because communism is not simple. Nevertheless, I'll make the attempt at a definition, although by itself the definition won't mean very much. We could define communism as the term which embraces the doctrines, the organization, the methods, and objectives of those people who call themselves communists. To understand this definition, we need to know what the doctrines of the communists are, what the organization of the communists is, what methods communists employ, and what objectives they seek to attain. It is the purpose of this series of lectures to try to clarify these things so that we can get an understanding of the doctrines, methods, objectives, and organizational structure of the communists as they operate throughout the world. Very little information concerning communism can be derived from the name communism itself. Actually, the choice of the name communism was a very happy choice for the communists because there are a number of people who insist on examining the root meaning of the word communism and thinking that this gives them an insight into communist doctrines, communist programs, and the nature of the communist movement. For example, it's not unknown to find people who say communism. That means commonism. That means having things in common. The early Christians, they had things in common. Therefore, the early Christians were the first communists. Actually, the name communism is no more significant than the name given to any other complex movement. Take, for example, the name Dodge, which is given to the Dodge automobile. You couldn't find out very much concerning the engineering of the Dodge through looking up the root meaning of the word Dodge. You wouldn't think the individual who said, I'm always in a hurry to get to work in the morning. I've got to dodge in and out of traffic quickly, therefore I bought a Dodge car. You wouldn't think that individual was very intelligent. And actually, it's not very intelligent to examine the historic meaning of the word communism and think that this gives an insight into the nature of the present world communist movement. The word communism is simply a name, like the word Dodge is a name, and each of them indicates a very complex existing entity. And the people who can tell us what communism is are the people who are called communists. And there are a very considerable number of these throughout the world at the present time. A brief review of the progress of the world communist movement is stimulating and somewhat frightening. A man called Lenin established a movement called Bolshevism with about 17 supporters in 1903. He conquered Russia with about 40,000 supporters in 1917. Today, the party of Lenin has conquered more than 1 billion of the people of the earth. This is success, statistical success, amazing success, greater success than any other movement in the history of mankind has achieved. However, all the people who are under the control of communists are not communists. Decidedly, they are not communists. They indicate this by their readiness to flee, to escape from the control of the communist wherever there is the slightest possibility. So let's examine how many communists there are in the world today. The official figures were published by the Communists in the World Marxist Review in August 1964. The World Marxist Review is the official magazine of international communism. As already indicated, Lenin conquered Russia with about 40,000 communists in 1917. In 1928, there were 46 communist parties in the world, with a total membership of 1,680,000. In 1935, there were 61 communist parties in the world, with a total membership of 3,141,000. In 1957, there were 75 communist parties in the world, with a total membership of 33 million. In 1963, there were 90 communist parties in the world, with a total membership of over 42.8 million.